Hi, Katrina. How are you?
I am great. It's so nice to be here with you.
Thank you. And I'm here with Katrina McGiffin, founder of Nourish and Be. And I'm going to start with your bio.
Great.
Katrina McGiffin is an expert in nourishment. Though formally trained in human nutrition, her work has significantly evolved to encompass decades of training in various energetic healing arts. Her gift is identifying and nourishing the flow of energy through the physical body and energetic field. Her passion is to empower people to boldly inhabit their bodies, guided by the light of their intuitive wisdom. Katrina possesses the skill to revitalize the intuitive knowing within you, heal blocks, and address limiting beliefs that may hinder access to your authentic self. Through her guidance, individuals can live with a greater sense of embodied joy and freedom. With over 20 years of experience guiding and empowering others through a diverse range of modalities, Katrina excels in getting to the heart of the matter and facilitating significant shifts with ease. Her exceptional ability to blend intuitive capabilities with real life implementation strategies has led to the development of a unique coaching method that is profoundly transformative. Katrina has her master's degree in human dietetics from Bastyr University, is a hypnotherapy practitioner through the Wellness Institute, a certified energy medicine healer under Cindy Dale, and a forest yoga teacher. Sessions with Katrina leave you feeling centered in your truth with energy flowing freely. That sounds so wonderful, just exceptional.
I am
Did you have anything
very
you wanted to
excited. Yeah, about how it's evolved. It is it's been a journey to put it all together, but it's pretty cool how it's where it's landed and continues to go.
It's so incredible. Can you please tell us about the Nourish method? What are the four R's? It's a 12-week journey, and is the 12-week journey all in person?
So the Nourish method is the method that guides pretty much everything that I do. It kind of is the method that informs my practice. The 12-week journey is my nourished being journey, and it's all virtual, but it really follows the four R's. I've actually added a fifth R even because I felt like it was relevant. And so I'll include that when I describe them. But my nourished being journey, which is that 12-week journey, is or 12 session, excuse me. It it follows that it's what I do individually with people. It's where most people begin their work with me, where we dig in on all those deep personal layers. So the first R is reveal, and that's always my first session. It's an intake session. We know what those are. Everybody has them, right? But this intake session, most people find it to be really interesting in the questions that I ask. What I'm doing is not just understanding what's happening physically, but all of the energetic layers that are subtly sitting around in between the physical. And so I'm building an understanding of like, what are those subtle layers that are over time creating the physical experience? And that's where I work, right? So that is just one big intake session. The second session is based on the second R, which is reclaim. And we work with the ninth chakra for reclaim, and where our original soul codes sit, the codes that really inform like the truth of our being, the original purpose for our soul to exist. And I walk people through a visioning activity where we use those codes to inform and build a vision, like a destination that somebody can hold for themselves of this is like the greatest possibility I can see for myself, and then hold it as a place to arrive to, right? And it isn't exactly what is like what where you land in that vision isn't where you're going necessarily. It's the energy of it, right? So but it's always helpful, I would say, when we get into our car to we know where we're going, we can put a destination into the GPS. It's a lot better than like driving around trying to figure it out. And so that's the same thing. So the two R's following that are release and receive. And it's this process where I use all the different modalities from, from those first 2 sessions where we figure out what's happening currently in the field, where are we going? And then through the process of release and receive, we begin to define what do we need to do to optimize the flow of our energy to bring ourselves into greater alignment with that vision. And then the fifth R that I added is revel, because once you get to that flow, you can revel in just being
Yeah.
optimally nourished, in being fluid. It doesn't mean that hard things don't pop up or we don't face circumstances in life that are uncomfortable. It just means that we can more fluidly move through them because we've optimized our
Yes.
flow.
Wonderful. That's so exciting. All of the R's are they resonate with me. That's my R back to you.
Yeah. I love it. I love
They
it.
resonate.
Maybe I need a 6
It
star.
sounds wonderful. Yeah, right? That's the first R actually. Are we
Right.
resonating? Okay, then let's start. Let's dive in.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's really a beautiful process. Actually, one of my girlfriends, Sarah, saw you because she got a gift certificate
Yeah.
from one of the open houses,
Hmm.
right? And she was telling me a bit of the process. And I loved the one portion that she shared where she says you asked her, if you let go of all limitations, where do you see yourself?
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting
Yeah.
because where she saw herself is like speaking to
Yeah.
like a group of people.
Right.
Right? And that's not like when we talk, we never talk about this. She's an herbalist,
Hmm.
right? And she has an apothecary, and it's like, wow, really? That's so cool,
Yeah.
right? And to
Yeah.
put yourself in that space of what's that gonna look like? And what's my journey there?
Yeah. Yeah. And how can I align vibrationally in the ways that I need to call that vision for myself into this present reality?
Right.
Yeah.
That's so neat. Very, very neat. Okay, so I went on your website and was digging around a little bit, and you share on your website, what the sessions may include,
Hmm.
and all of the little nuggets that you're sharing is so it brings me joy.
Oh.
So I wanted to share some of them here, and maybe you can share your experience of this with your clients, right? So some of the sessions may include mindful eating strategies, food and cooking exercises, hypnotherapy, energy healing, exploration and release of limiting beliefs, diet modifications, rhythm and ritual guidance, movement and breath work, chakra activation and balancing, supplement protocol, and meditation and mindset practices. That's so all encompassing and comprehensive as far as our overall health.
Yeah.
It encompasses all of that.
Hmm.
It's the heart, it's the gut, it's our brain, it's our energy and our thoughts and our beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I first began as a nutritionist, I was so focused on the physical form and body and supplements and eating and all the strategies. And of course, we know that those don't always work for everyone, right? And some people can integrate those into their lives more easily than others. For some people, it just feels like they can't do it at all. And so I started to dig. That's why I dug into the mindset pieces and into our subconscious and even into like our soul life rather than this physical life, and dug into all the layers, like what could be informing our physical form in the ways that we don't understand. And so that's how I've built it now from the body out, right? Like into all of those other layers. And so it sounds like a lot when people look at that, they're like, but do you do nutrition with me? Do we do hypnotherapy? Do we do, and it really is. I mean, that's why I just keep it really simple to like release and receive, because it's like, well, what do you need to release? What do
Right.
you need to receive? Sometimes it is more in that subtle energetic realm. And sometimes, or oftentimes, we need to support it in the physical realm. So, even though we might be working in the subconscious, there are ways that we can support the physical body to bring that subconscious alignment we're working with into being. Um,
Yeah.
right? So that's how it all comes together. It sounds like a lot, but it feels a very simple in the way that it's integrated in practice.
Right. And it's really important to understand that all of that, it all encompasses, optimal healing. Because if you're just used to like the Western medical model that basically like separates everything, that's why you're not getting like the optimal healing because you're only addressing one thing and you're neglecting that one thing is connected with everything else in the body as well as everything else energetically.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, I mean, I was a holistic nutritionist. So I thought, oh, I'm working with the whole body. I'm getting outside of that limited way of thinking about the body in terms of its individual parts. But then I realized it isn't just about the physical body, it's about all. So it's like opening it up even more. Yeah.
Yes. Now, can you share an experience with maybe one of your clients that um, you were able to open up from this sort of mindset of like, wait, what are we doing? To, oh, I get it. And
Yeah.
like just seeing the blossoming.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's hard. I mean, I think like in terms of like believing it or understanding like what it the full impact of it, I find that when I bring people into the fullness of themselves, they immediately feel it. So even if they had a question of, what is this? Or what are we doing? Like, I don't know if I totally buy into it. Through even one session, they connect with the the energy of it and often the emotion of it, and they can feel that movement through them, and it feels better. It just feels better. And then the more we work with it unlocks different things where you can tell that it just resonates, right? Like it just is like, oh, that shifted in me. And and I can feel it when it shifts in them. They can feel it when it shifts in them. But could we actually mark something that shifted? Like maybe someday we will be able to. I don't know.
You
um,
don't need to.
we don't need to. We don't need to. Feeling it,
No.
knowing, and then what I love is that like when you feel that shift, then it starts to ripple out, and and
Right.
and the changes start to happen in the rest of the world, right? The rest of your world. And then I get these phone calls from people that are like, this just happened in my career or in my relationship or in my, and we might have been working on like a piece with their physical body, and they had no idea that it was connected through all these different strands of energy to all these different aspects of their life that are suddenly shifting and changing to match their new resonance.
Yes. I love that. Do you actually have anybody that has written a testimonial for you about that?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess along those lines, yeah, I have several testimonials, but I don't know in those exact words, maybe. I don't know.
Because it would be interesting for people to see actually how everything is connected,
Yes. Yeah.
right? Like, know that if you're going, like, okay, let's say I have like chronic back pain and I come to you and I'm like, I have chronic back pain, nourish me. What would this look like? And all of a sudden, like, the back pain's gone, but also X, Y, and Z happens. And they, notice that that's just kind of like, it's cool for people to kind of be introduced to that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And sometimes
As
people come
a
to me, they're
testimony.
like, do you think this could be connected? I'm like, yep, it is. I do have a story around that, like this one of somebody I worked with for a long time. She really like she had this corporate, or she was a lawyer and was really into her practice and had built like a big firm, and was on her path and successful, and she started to do this work. And I hesitate saying this because I don't want people to think their worlds are gonna like fall apart, but it didn't. It was better for her, right? Because she like woke up something in herself and created this integration where she was like, I hate what I do. Like I hate it. And she left it and created this whole other business for herself that was so much more fulfilling and better for her, right? But it was like you
Right.
see, when you really align with your truth, you can feel the things that aren't actually in alignment. Sometimes they're, things that take some undoing like that, but land you in a better place. And some things that just fall away easily because they, someone who was eating late at night, like a pack of cookies. I had a client who would eat, a whole bag of cookies that they hated this habit that they had every night at like 10 p.m. Right. And they just stopped doing it. And they were like, oh, it's been weeks since I've done that. And I didn't even realize I'd stopped, where it was this habit before that felt like impossible to get past.
Yeah, I've had experience with that because I also do energy healing, and I was working on a gentleman that had a rash, and we worked on it, and when we followed up 10 days later, he was just like, yeah, everything's going well. I don't have the rash anymore. And I gave up ice cream. You know, ice cream is a habit that he's had like for the longest time, but he gave it up because energetically it didn't resonate with him anymore. It
Right.
wasn't going to help his like optimal health.
Right. And when it doesn't resonate anymore, it's not hard. It's not hard to give up, right? Like that's the beauty of it, because I think we fight against ourselves so much. And when we work in that subtle field, as you know, we don't have to battle ourselves anymore. It just unfolds naturally.
So you have so many retreats coming up. You've got like 3 retreats coming up. Can you tell us about them? You've got the Sacred Art of Eating course coming up in September,
Mhm.
the Nourish Shakti retreat in October, and the Soul Shine retreat in February of 2025. So
Yeah.
tell us about all of those.
So the Sacred Art of Eating is actually a virtual course where I've taken everything that I was like over the years realizing I was doing with almost everybody and put it into like they're basically like the 5 foundational steps or like layers of what it means to be able to nourish yourself well. And so we dive into like the energetics of food, the like concrete tangible reality of working with food. We talk about what it means to draw into like deeper relationship with the body, and heal wounds around that. We talk about like living in rhythm, the natural rhythm of being just a being on this earth. And so that course is something that's been really popular and people really find to be a very foundational experience to transforming their relationship with food and body. The Nourished Shakti, I'm just on that note. I have if anybody's interested, you can use the code SACRED24 for the next couple of weeks to get $100 off the course. The Nourished Shakti retreat I only have one spot left for it. It's in the Gorge at the Society Hotel, and it's a weekend retreat where we're diving into inviting that Shakti feminine energy from the earth to flow through us. So it's going to be juicy and wild. And if anybody's interested, let me know right away, because there's only, like I said, one spot left. The one in February is the one that's like so near and dear to my heart because it's my third time. We've led it the last 2 years, and it's just at the most magical retreat center outside of Sayulita. And it's just our group that takes over this whole boutique resort that's right on the ocean. And I lead it with my girlfriend who's a shaman, and we do a shamanic ceremony. We do yoga, we do meditation, we play, we have a ton of fun. And it's always the most incredible group of women that come together. And it just is like soul filling. And I talk about it as though it's like taking a quantum leap with your soul. Like any work that I might do with someone in an individual session is just like expanded
Mhm.
exponentially, right? Because we're in circle and held by a group of people. And because it's just an extended period of really like deep diving with yourself. So and then I'll
Right.
just tease real quick. There's one that's kind of coming together last minute that I think is going to be end of October. That will be for like the spiritual entrepreneur to really
Mhm.
deepen into the like that leaning into business in a way that feels really aligned with like the truth of their soul. And that I believe, like I haven't officially released it yet, but it's going to be end of October in Tulum.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah,
Wow, you got to pull that together pretty quickly.
I know.
Do you have a maximum amount of people that you cap it at for each of the retreats as far as like the Nourish Shakti retreat and the Soul Shine retreat and this one coming up in Tulum? Will there be a
Yeah.
cap?
If I'm leading it by myself, I usually cap it at 15 because that's what I feel like I
Okay.
can hold well. And then the other retreats where I'm co-hosting, I usually cap it at 25 because I really love the intimacy that builds within a group. And beyond 25, it starts to get a little bit loose and like other like little circles form, and which is fine. It's just I really love the like people call me a herd dog. I like to have everybody's energy like come together at the retreat. So 25 is usually the cap there.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, it's important because just as everything's connected, we're all connected so that whenever we come together in a gathering, we're meant to be together. So you
Yep,
don't want to like miss out on the togetherness that you can get from others if you're just gonna
exactly.
like separate out.
Yeah, that's such a huge piece of it. I really
Yeah,
believe like
well,
100% that like the circle that forms each time, that group of people they were meant to come together every single time. It's like this, it feels like magic, and like that they were specifically called together.
yeah, and it's so smart of you to have these retreats in like February out in Mexico because we're freezing out here in Oregon, right? To get some warmth would be nice.
It is the perfect time of year to be like, see ya, and then go get a little sunshine right now.
Well, gosh, thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I mean, I'm assuming you can find me at nourishandbe.com. I'm on Facebook. And I have a free Facebook group where I offer free like mini trainings and have a couple master classes in there. So if anybody's wanting to get more familiar with the way I think through things or do things, or even some practices I lead, that's in a place where you can really access some free offerings. And that's called the Nourish method on Facebook. And otherwise, if anybody's interested, I'm here to chat. I love connecting with people, obviously. It's what I do.
Awesome. And then you brought back the Nourish method. That reminded me that I had a question about the Nourish method. You said it's online, right? The Nourish method when you're doing the 12-week journey. It's
Yeah.
online, but then is it online and then connecting with you at different points?
It is so 12 sessions where we meet virtually for like an hour each time on Zoom, as you would
Oh,
expect. But the thing that I've incorporated that people find to be like one of their favorite pieces is we use like a walkie-talkie app in the background of all the sessions. So somebody can land for me voicing it, right? We don't always work through it. Sometimes we do. It just depends. But the important thing is that they're able to like talk through the energy that they're feeling in the moment rather than having to remember it and bring it to the session. And I've found that that's really valuable because I can feel what it is, and then we work with it later, or we work with it at the time.
okay. That's that thing that's called Voxer or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed learning about what you offer. I think it's really important and it feels to me that it's really well held. It helps us to just move through so many things with just this intention of meeting. It seems like we could work through a lot of balancing within ourselves, energetically, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Thank you. Thank you for framing it like that, to saying that, and for providing the space to talk about it. I really appreciate you having me on here.
Thank you, and I will see you soon.
Okay.
Bye.